After Victor Wembanyama got drafted number one overall to the San Antonio Spurs as the most hyped prospect since possibly LeBron James, I actually kind of feel bad for him because there's so much pressure riding on his shoulders. Going into the season, he's expected to be the next generational talent of the NBA, standing 7'4" with handles and a 3-point shot. And obviously, he can dunk the ball very well, being 7'4" and athletic. And obviously, he's a very good defender. He's a very good transition defender, and will get a lot of blocks in the NBA and can get steals as well. But I feel bad for him because going into his first NBA season, if he doesn't average something crazy like 22 and 11, people are already going to be calling for him as a bust. Oh, he's not going to live up to the generational talent hype and everything else that goes into calling a player a bust. And he's going to be micro-analyzed throughout this entire season. So if he has one bad game, or if at the beginning of the season he has a couple bad games, people are going to micro-analyze it and be like, oh, I told you, this is exactly why I think he's going to be an NBA bust. Now, for me personally, I tend to fall into the trap of calling a player a bust early on in their careers, and that's a mistake that I've made before. And something that I don't want to do with Victor Wembanyama. And while I don't know if he's necessarily going to be as top 5 player in NBA history that people think he might be, and I don't know if he's going to be the next superstar or face of the franchise, or face of the league, that people may think that he is, I do think that he's going to be an elite player in the NBA. I think he's going to make multiple All-NBA teams. I think he's going to make multiple All-Star teams. I think he has a chance of getting a couple of MVPs in his career. He's going to be a good enough player, a great enough player to lead a team to a championship and be the number one piece on a championship level team. But I just feel bad for him with all the expectations that are put upon him for this season. And obviously the Spurs are going to be bad this year. They're going to be terrible. And one player is not going to fix that. This is a league where you need 2 or 3 very solid players to compete, and you need even to make the playoffs, you need at least 2 All-Stars almost, or at least 2 very high quality players. And the Spurs just don't have that. In Keldon Johnson, they have a solid player, and obviously in Victor Wembanyama, they have someone who we think is going to be a very solid player, but he's going to have to get the kinks out of his game and transition to the NBA style of play. And while I do think he's going to be able to do that pretty efficiently and pretty quickly, I think that I'm modest stat predicting for him for this year. I'm going to predict that he gets about 17 points and 8 rebounds per game, as well as 3 blocks a game. I think he's going to go crazy with blocks, and I think he's going to be a very good help defender this year, even though he's going to be a rookie, which lots of young bigs struggle defensively, but I do think that he's going to be a very good defender come year one. And I'm really actually optimistic to see him play. At first, I was not as optimistic, but as I've seen him go against guys like Chet and other guys in the league, in the preseason, in the G League, I've become more optimistic on him. However, I do not think that he's going to be the next LeBron. No one can be the next LeBron. And LeBron was supposed to be the next Michael Jordan, and he delivered, and then some. And with Victor Wembanyama, I don't think it's fair to expect he's going to have the same career trajectory as LeBron James. LeBron James exceeded the expectations, which were already sky high. Now you're putting those same expectations on Wemby, thinking, oh, he's going to be the next top 3 player in NBA history, top 10 player in NBA history. If he becomes a 2-time champion, if he has a Giannis career path where he has a championship, couple MVPs, that'll be a very solid career. And I hate it for him that if he even is a perennial all-star but doesn't win MVPs on MVPs on MVPs and doesn't win championships on championships, he'll be considered a bust. Even being a 12-time all-star will be considered a bust for him, and the expectations that are being placed on him. And if I were in Wemby's size 46 billion shoes, I would actually feel so much pressure, and I feel bad for him having to carry all that pressure on his shoulders. However, I think he could lead the Spurs to maybe the 10 seed, get into a play-in spot. They won't really go anywhere in the playoffs. Like I said, you need multiple stars to make a deep playoff run. But I think you could lead them to the 10 seed, get into a playing game, maybe win one playing game, maybe get into the 8 seed or 7 seed. But I don't think they're going to go any further than that. And I think that this is going to be a year where Wemby is just going to have to develop. Let's not be hard on him. As an NBA community, we can't be hard on him. He's a 7'4" phenom, but he's still human at the end of the day, and he's still a rookie at the end of the day. He's like 19 years old. So we can't be too hard on him, and my expectations on him are tempered for this year, and I'm just expecting something like 17, 8, and 3 blocks a game. If he can average maybe 3 or 4 assists come throughout his entire career, that's a massive W for the Spurs as well. I am looking forward to seeing the Spurs build around him come years down the line. Thank you all for watching. God bless you all. I hope you have an amazing day. Let me know what you think of Victor Wembanyama in the comments below. God bless.